come from a certain black, like once again, if I'm on the phone with a customer service representative that's a moronic black woman, well, okay, I'm gonna hear that statement and saying, well, I get that you might think just anybody working in customer service may be moronic, but you didn't have to point out.
But what did he say that was messed up?
Moronic black woman. So to black women,
I don't know what he's saying, bro.
Oh, you're talking about that quote. So here's something that's important, right? Because Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Let's be clear about this, and we're both agreeing because people believed a lie. He never said black women were moronic. He never said that. He said it specifically about Ketanji Brown Jackson or Jackson Lee, about 3 black women who said, "I'm here because of DEI." He said, "If you're saying, I agree. I don't think you're smart enough for that job." Because they're not great in his opinion. Yeah, but he said, I agree with your statement. He never said black. He had black women who worked.
The exact quote he used, I watched the interview where he was talking to this blonde lady, I forgot her name. But
Megyn Kelly.
No, it wasn't Megyn Kelly. She's ugly. It was another one.
She's going to see this.
I don't
Jack has a whiskey with his $5 super chat say black people want to be with snow people. Trust me. I don't know, maybe. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. I really don't know, man. Maybe you're telling the truth. I don't know.
I wanted to see it.
In my opinion, it's kind of mixed. I don't know.
Anyway. He was on a video call side by side with a lady, and he said, if I'm on a customer service call with a woman and she's a moronic black woman, that's his exact words, bro. I'm not paraphrasing or nothing. I'm using his exact verbiage.
Yeah, that's a lie, bro.
Yeah, I'm on the phone with a customer service agent and she's a moronic black woman.
Yeah.
What am I to think? That she got there based on DEI?
Yes.
Right?
So the context is he's saying if I'm on the phone with someone who would be in a DEI class, who sounds like an idiot, and this is, by the way, I had this exact similar conversation with the girl at UT, where she said, I would never be at UT if not for affirmative action. I said, affirmative, and I believe it, affirmative action is racist by its definition, my opinion. It excludes on race. That is a form of racism. So anyway, she sat down, she said, young black girl, she said, but if it wasn't for affirmative action, she said, I wouldn't be here at UT. I said, why do you say that? She said, well, because I wouldn't be allowed. I said, well, what were your SATs? I remember the numbers, they were very impressive. I said, what was your GPA? It was very impressive. It was over 4.0. I said, that's really sad to me that you don't know, and you'll never know that you deserve to be here, because I can tell you, based on if you're telling me the truth, you of course would get into UT. And you didn't need a government program. And you could see in her face, her tears welled up because she had been told that she needed someone else to give it to her. And that removed her sense of pride in her accomplishment. So I said the exact same thing as Charlie did, saying you can never know if you earned it, a meritocracy, because of DEI. And she changed her mind. And she said, you know what? I should be here, and I don't need DEI. Or affirmative action in that case.
In that validation in order to believe that.
In that particular instance,
and certainly not from a white guy.
In that particular instance, it might have been completely accurate. But there's also, if you want to acknowledge that there's a flip side to the coin,
sure,
okay.
Right? There's also a lot of people who had the qualifications who didn't get the access because, once again, their name appeared wrong on the resume.
What?
Their name was Ketanji. Well, we know who that is. Let's go with Alice.
Yeah. She is an idiot, and she got the job because of DEI.
That's why affirmative action had to be instituted in the first place. Now, did it operate correctly all the time?
What DEI does is...
But that's what I'm saying.
Let me explain something. What DEI does is basically remove accountability meritocracy in the process of hiring somebody. So you doing the job or whether you're qualified to do the job has nothing to do if you qualify to just get that position. DEI is just a way of just being racist. It's a way of a bigotry or low expectation. I don't think if you are from one race or one color, you should be giving priorities. It should not be like that. But DEI is that.
It didn't operate correctly all the time. You're gonna take the few instances where it didn't and make that the majority. And what I'm
saying is that Charlie Kirk. I agree. What I'm saying is that Charlie Kirk was making a point. And the point that he was making, I'm trying to say, is the same point that I was making where this black girl agreed with it, where he was saying, if you say that I'm only here because of DEI, then I am going to believe you. Right. That's what he's saying. And that's a valid point, and it's not hateful.
In doing that, you have the responsibility in your words to not have to say the words moronic black woman. You could have just said, if I'm on, like you said, you just perfectly summed it up. If I'm on the phone with a customer service agent and she's a moron, Perfect. Why does she have to be qualified as black?
Because he was addressing DEI. That's the point.
But do you understand? Do you understand how that's going to affect somebody who hears it?
No, my point is, okay, then I'm insensitive. If someone is addressing DEI in a conversation and is asked about it, where race is relevant as per the policy, DEI, it exists based on race. You can't blame someone for acknowledging the race in criticizing the policy.
But the policy was created because race was being used to exclude.
Yeah,
Fine. Then don't say that it's wrong for him to acknowledge the race. He was making the point about a race-based initiative.
But you see,
that's why he included the race.
You see the choice in words he had to use?
Yeah, bro, this dude, my goodness. Oh, my God. This dude doesn't really want to listen what he has to say. It's DEI, so it's based on racially selecting somebody. You have to acknowledge the race. Because clearly the customer service, whatever Charlie Kirk was saying, clearly there was some DEI attributes to that. Therefore, he had to address it. Like, we know the customer service, how it is. Spirit Airlines is a good example. Frontline is a very good example. Sometimes when you call to the IRS, it's a very good example of that. So we don't have to lie to ourselves. Like, these people, they really, really want to hold that victim card so hard, huh?
And once again, our responsibility in our choice of words is what creates a response in other people. I could say certain things to you, the way I say it can either give you a good vibe or a bad one.
Sure, that's
and you're gonna respond a certain way.
Yeah, but who cares? That doesn't make someone a racist.
It doesn't, but I'm saying when people do things knowing that we're in a heightened inflammatory time, and you do it on purpose and just stand behind whatever. It don't make me a racist, but I'm saying that y'all ain't shit.
This dude, what the hell, bro?
Whatever.
But he never said that.
Whatever.
That matters, because believing those lies is why someone killed them.
Women in a certain context, and then.
Well, it's not all, right? But there's some instance where there's a great pattern when you receive customer service from certain people, you tend to have certain outcome. Not all. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm not expecting nobody to get upset by that.
Let me just, because Charlie Kirk is a big thing. Let me just kind of, maybe if you could just listen to this, because this is important. And I've been through it. And you're just seeing the actual murder that got through.
Right.
I mean, I've had concrete milkshakes, someone tried to bash me over that with a rock. I've had people try to firebomb my car, slash my tires. I've had terrorists show up from Yemen by way of Sweden until the local PD showed up. Like, actually, I'm on the ISIS kill list. Yeah. It's a real thing. Charlie
so all the stuff Dr. King and Malcolm X was dealing with. Go ahead.
Oh, my God.
Sure, great.
Yeah.
And I think it was wrong that he was taking probably the CIA involvement, too. I think we probably all agree on that, that MLK, right? Yeah, absolutely. It's wrong. Yep. We can say it's all wrong.
Oh, my God. No, they didn't. They threw the Malcolm X and Martin Luther King stuff. Wow.
But if you add it up, okay, where you believe the lie that he said something racist, let's just take that, okay? There's some hate put out there against Charlie Kirk that's not true. If someone believes a lie that he wants to erase trans people, that's what the people were also told. He wants to erase trans people, which is a lie. That person hates him too. If someone believes that he's a fascist or he's a Nazi who doesn't believe we should hold democratic elections, which is a lie, and people believe that, hey, that adds another piece of hatred and justification too. If someone believes that he's a misogynist, a sexist, who doesn't think that women should be allowed to vote or have the right to, earn their place in the workplace, that's not. And every single one of them is dishonest, just like no one here knew that Donald Trump said, I condemn white supremacists and neo-Nazis totally. So
and I still don't know that he said it. I hear you saying he said it, but I'd have to go see it in order to know.
Okay, so let's assume for a second that I'm not lying, and right after this, I make the references available always. And you see that. And let's assume that I'm not lying and Charlie Kirk wasn't racist. And let's assume that he didn't want to commit genocide against trans people. And let's assume for a second that I'm not lying and there's a 12 times murder rate from black toward white people as opposed to white toward. Let's assume that I'm not lying about any of this because I'm kind of good at it and I know these numbers and it's what I do. Wouldn't we acknowledge that, hey, why? Why do so many people believe these lies? I guarantee you this right here, this conversation, you will read in the media that this was racist. Because I sat down and
discussed race issues.
Because I sat down and argued with black people. I've been accused of being a Nazi because of sitting down and having conversations. They said, well, you should know that's offensive. That's not my responsibility. I'm actually having a conversation, and so did Charlie. And he was shot for it and vilified for it.
And it wrongly.
And that's wrong, yeah. That's
wrongly.
And nobody.
But it's because people believe the lie.
But that's my point. It's because the way information is propagated and given to people. Once again, via social media, all these other platforms. And most of it is disinformation.
I agree.
So that's the root of the problem.
But here, you can't even identify yourself when you're having wrong information or not. Even the stats that were brought during this conversation, you couldn't even refute it. You have to say, nah, I don't believe that. Nah, I believe that, which is not even an argument. It doesn't. It's not even helping you. Sometimes, listen, if you don't have the information right there with you, you have to grant some of these arguments, and that way we can move the conversation forward. But you're not even granting arguments. You guys aren't even granting anything. It's just a back and forward of just fatigue, I guess.
Giving people the wrong information, and then they responding to this wrong information by feeling a certain way about the people that information is informing them about.
Yep.
So then you have crazy people responding to misinformation, and that's where we at. We're a bunch of crazy people, bunch of shook up soda cans waiting to pop over some bad information.
Yeah.
I just want to add something, if I may, though, and this is the only part, as it relates to the Charlie Kirk situation, the only thing I think we kind of getting the mixed message in that is, as I said again, it was a young white man that killed Charlie Kirk for his personal issues.
Yo, it's just they have to make everything about damn race, man.
Whatever those ideologies that may have been the cause that fueled his violence, it wasn't a black man who said, I don't like what he's saying. Nevertheless, he has said that, Ketanji Brown Jackson, what's that young lady, Michelle Obama, all these people with DEI hires. In other words, we respond differently because we have gotten so accustomed to it in terms of what's believed about us or perceived about us. So we just know, hey, at tomorrow it'll be another sound bite on some other shit. You understand what I'm talking about? So we're not going to react the same way. So I think we got to acknowledge the fact that, hey, you know what? There may need to be a change in the conversation overall as it relates to what's really the hell going on with white and black America. That's why I say I just need you to kind of and Steve, when I say this, it's not a challenge, but I got to ask you, you got to tell me these sources where you're getting this 12 times more likely a black man killing a white person.
This is to show you. This is to show you that they don't even understand the current situation of their own community. They cannot even understand their own situation. This is very well documented. 12% of the population, 14% of the conversation is committing over 50% of the violent crime in the United States. We know this for quite a while. There are multiple statistics. I think the website blackstatistics.com is a very good source for that, where they just track some of these stats as well. This is very well known, and even in their own community, even their own cities, they can see it. But again, because they're used to that environment, I don't think they're gonna let it go.
Gotta know that, not because it's contradictory, but because I like to have facts. Give me the source.
I'll give them to you. Yeah, when we do it, we always give a QR code where you can see all of them. These are coming from either the FBI or DOJ.
You say QR code and see, and that's a blind thing.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I have to print it on Braille and ship it. By the way, you want to hear funny, true, hand to God. I dated a girl in college whose dad was at an airport, and next to him was Stevie Wonder. He was reading a Playboy in Braille. I was like, I guess you had to do that one-handed. I don't know how you use a Playboy in Braille, but...
Hey, man, blind people, we love sex. That's our only connection to the rest of society.
In the airport, Stevie Wonder, Playboy in Braille. He's like, the f***.
Hey, Charles had 11 children. Go figure.
All right, no, I will.
It's been a pleasure.
Hey, Cedric, thanks. I got to get going, too. Thank you, man. Now that I know you're blind, I'm going to...
Terrific, man. Thank you for everything, man. Continue your discourse, man, because this is the only way we...